As I jump out of my boat onto the dock, holding only my pillow and a blanket, I feel the cold night air pierce my skin as I turn around to see my boat burst into flames. Hi, my name is Jessica Huffman, and today I'm going to share with you the story of how I almost died in a boat fire. This event had a huge impact on me, and it taught me some valuable lessons, as well as left me with some PTSD. The first lesson I learned was to always trust your gut. The second lesson I learned is that you should always make sure your marina's wiring is up to code. And the third lesson I learned is that no matter what time it is, people will come to watch a boat burn. Some lessons are learned the hard way. So the first lesson I learned is that you should always trust your gut feelings. If it weren't for my mom's strong intuition, we would have died that night in the boat. My family has always been a lake family. Even my dad's family before us, he was always out on the lake with his family, and so he incorporated that into our family. So I was used to going out to the lake every weekend, and this was like any other weekend except for it was just my mom and me, but it was the one weekend I will never forget. It was the night before we were about to move our boat from Arizona to Texas. Marinas can be dangerous, especially if they're old. The second lesson that I learned is that you should always make sure your marina's wiring is up to code. My mom and I had a great day out at the lake. We were swimming in the green water. I promise it was clear. It just has a green tint to it. That's one of my things. I cannot swim in water that I can't see what's underneath me, but this water was perfect. It was a nice summer day, and it was so warm, and I could see all the fish underneath me, and we were just relaxing and hanging out and having a great day. And after that, we went to the restaurant on the marina called Boondocks, which always smelled like fish. And then after that, we settled in for the night, and that's when everything went wrong. My mom woke up, and she smelled smoke, and she didn't know why, but she said something inside of her just told her that she needed to wake up. And so she did, and when she smelled the smoke, she hopped out of bed and she ran down to my room, which was underneath the boat. And then she got me out of bed, she told me to grab whatever I needed and to run off the boat. And that's what we did. And as soon as my mom stepped off the boat behind me, the gray smoke turned to black. And I just remember the black smoke piling out of the boat, just like, it went so fast, like you wouldn't believe how fast a fire can happen. And soon after the black smoke, it was just flames. As soon as we opened the door, the oxygen hit, and you know that's how fires start. The last thing I remember my mom telling me to do was to run and get help. So that's what I did. I ran, and as I was running, screaming for help, people started coming out of their boat. The third and final lesson that I learned is that people will always come out, no matter what time it is, if there is a tragic event happening. Everyone was up and out of their boats at 3 a.m. in the morning watching this happen. I remember watching the employee in his little golf cart, and I remember the sound of his wheels like scraping on the pebbles on the marina dock, and just seeing his tiny little fire extinguisher that was not going to do anything to save our boat at that point. We called 911, but the firefighters were over an hour away, and I just remember sitting on the dock, sobbing, and then I remember people surrounding me and trying to help me through this, and I just remember looking down and seeing my tear-soaked shirt and my tear-soaked pillow and my blanket. That was all I had with me. The firefighters finally got there hours later and were fighting the fire, but by that point our boat was already like a charred black mass, still burning out in the middle of the lake because they had released it from the dock so it didn't burn the rest of the marina. We were lucky to be alive. So the first thing I learned is that you always trust your gut feelings. The second thing I learned is that you should always get your wiring checked out, because even if it looks normal, it could be very not normal and it could cause fires. And the third lesson I learned is that even if it's early in the morning, people are gonna come out and watch a boat burn. I'll never forget that day jumping out onto the dock and turning around, only holding what I could carry and seeing my boat burst into flames. Sometimes you need a near-death experience to truly value life. And then here are my note cards.